French stuff. I just dropped by my ticket, and he was
Okay, let's start the second half. Okay, so we're running out of time. I'd like to explain three kinds of cause of anger. One is anger occurs when we think we are doing, when we think I'm doing the right thing, I'm in the right, and other people are in the wrong. When we have this kind of mindset, anger starts in ourselves. I'm following the rule, but that person break the rule. Or I made it in time, but that person was late. So this mindset is the cause of anger. This is one of the cause. So, like in an easy example, in Japan, in the workplace, usually female workers serve tea to the boss. And one time, a boss asked the female worker to bring him a cup of coffee. Maybe he was wondering, I should have tea today, or usually I want to have coffee. Okay, I like a cup of coffee. Please bring me one. But the female worker brought a cup of tea. And the boss got angry. Didn't I ask you to bring a cup of coffee? And the female worker said, no, you said bring me a cup of tea. Tea or coffee or tea, and then they had a quarrel. This is a very simple example, but in our daily life, we have a similar kind of quarrels every day because of the difference or not difference of opinion, but how do you say 言い間違い聞き間違い
slip of the tongue. Sometimes we
slip of the tongue
say
or
the wrong thing.
just
We're thinking
misunderstanding,
something.
just mishearing. We have such kind of miscommunication, and then we end up having quarrel. In such situation, Buddhism encourages us to remind us of the quote from Prince Shotoku. Prince Shotoku is one of the well-known historical figure in Japan. He said, I am not necessarily in the right and others are not necessarily in the wrong. All of us are mediocre people. We are all just human beings beset with worldly passions. We sometimes make mistakes, so we have to be aware of that and try to forgive others. And there must have been a certain reasoning behind the person's actions, which third-party people are not aware of. Any effects have their own causes. If someone takes a certain action, there must be a reason to it. So we are encouraged to keep this mindset. Try to understand other people's reason. And secondly, when we have desire of some kind and something gets in its way, we get angry. Something gets in in its way of our desire, we get angry. Especially if we are scolded in front of a lot of people. We feel a sense of humiliation that remains with us till our dying day. In a workplace, if a supervisor points out the subordinate's flaw in front of other workers, this subordinate will get furious with anger inside. Of course, he cannot express it outwardly. This is because his desire for recognition is now damaged severely. I heard one example recently. It's about another kind of desire. It's about the desire for sleep. Somebody was working on a night shift, and she comes home in the morning exhausted and goes to bed. But recently she realized that above the roof of her room there's a swimming pool, and especially in summertime, there always are some residents who enjoy swimming, and the noise from the roof keeps disturbing her sleep. She had no choice but goes to her mother's house and take a refuge. She confessed to her mother she wanted to strangle those swimmers. So anger comes from because her desire for sleep was disturbed. When we see a very evil criminal on TV news program, do we get angry about those criminals? What a bad person he is. Do we get angry? No, we don't get angry. We just watch such program while yawning. Oh. We don't feel anything. We feel more anger to those insulting remarks from our spouse. We get much anger to those who sneezes next to us in the middle of the night. Not sneezes. Snores. Yeah, I sneezes in the middle of the night sometimes. A criminal who got blinded by self-interest and commit murder is very evil. But strangely enough, we feel more anger toward people around us who causes us some loss to us. People who prevent our desire to be fulfilled. So we come to realize that in the bottom of our anger lies our desire. We are so stolid, we are as stolid as swine when it comes to the interest of other people. But the minute our own profit is involved, we are all attention. If someone is standing in the way of our desires, even a relative or a benefactor, we will push him down and stab him in the heart with never a second thought of or a second pity. Of course, not physically, figuratively. So when we feel anger is about to come up, let us spare some time to reflect upon us, wondering what kind of desire of us got thwarted. What kind of desire is thwarted by other people? Let us reflect upon ourselves. With this kind of meditation, anger will start to subside naturally, to some extent. So this is the second cause. When the desire is thwarted. it causes anger. Thirdly, we lose our temper more often to people who we care so much. It may sound strange, but it's true. For example, a couple's quarrel in many cases end up in horrible result. I know in many cases it becomes uncontrollable. It always starts with a trivial matter. Something like a husband takes off a socks and just leave them there instead of putting them in the laundry basket. Then the wife reproaches him. The way she says it rubs the husband the wrong way. And they start quarreling. People wonder why, with such trivial matter, they have to have a quarrel. But this happens so often. because a couple look after each other very well. So that's the cause. From the husband's perspective, he makes his best effort to try to protect his family so that his wife and children don't need to feel any anxiety. He works hard at his office, maybe under a younger boss than him. He sometimes works overtime, but then if the wife says, "Why is your salary so little? Why don't you get any promotion?" Of course, the husband will get offended and shoots back. "Why don't you understand a little bit about how much I've been struggling to make a living for you?" So this mindset, I have done so much for you, but this kind of condescending attitude or a patronizing air is the cause of anger. From the wife's perspective, she always wakes up earlier than anyone in the house and prepares for breakfast and lunchbox, choosing the ingredients carefully. But husband makes a careful remark saying, "You don't do much household chores, huh?" The wife thinks her existence is totally ignored and feels deep frustration. What is important for both sides is to try to forget things they did for the sake of other parties. Buddha taught emptying the three wheels is important. Emptying the three wheels. It's the Buddha's teaching that we should forget three things when we do kindness to others. Those three things include I did, to whom, and what I did. Emptying means forgetting. So that means when you do good kindness to others, you should forget I did, to whom, what I did. In this way, we can do kindness with a much purer way. So in a sense, if someone is angry about you, that means this person is the one who cares about you so much. And you don't need to get angry towards somebody, and you don't get angry towards somebody because you have a cold heart. It shows how much you have been making effort to that person. Anyway, we should be careful when we think we are doing the right thing. In such a situation, we tend to get angry. This is Buddha's wisdom. Just by realizing this wisdom, we can stay much calmer from now on. Don't you think so? So yes, we can. But still, sometimes this arises. It cannot be helped. So in such a case, there's only one solution. Count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So physically, by having a distance, time-wise, our rationality may come back a little bit. And then we can cool down and try to understand other people. Then how we can understand other people very well? Regarding this, Shakyamuni Buddha also taught in detail. So if you want to know more, please make a reservation to our special lesson. Maybe we will go to announce it later. Now we have only 5 minutes, but let's have a short group discussion again with the same group. Oh, hi, David. You can be in this group. So this is all about today's lecture on anger. I hope you can join next time. It's going to be held in 2 weeks. See you next time.